Here it is. Number 2, find your inner child. Now, there are those who say, inner child talk again. You know, Kryon, I've never understood why that's important, why I should. In fact, there are scripture verses that I read that say, when I was young, I thought as a child, and now that I'm adult, I don't have to anymore. Indeed, that scripture verse, by the way, means something completely different than what I'm telling you now. I'm telling you to rekindle and capture back something all of you, or most of you, had. I talked to those in many cultures, but the majority of you had beautiful childhoods. Now, there may have been issues with your parents or later on, but when you're really young, it's different from any other time in your life. Indeed, there are some of you who said, well, I've had a really, really ugly childhood and this and that, but you had friends who didn't you? So let's pretend with me for a moment what it was like for them or what you saw. Most of you did, and here's what I'm getting at. You had a time when there were no worries at all. There just weren't. When you could play. Even if your parents were difficult, you can get outside of that bubble and play with your friends, and you didn't have the stress you have today. The stress that may be caused from what's going to happen next. What am I going to do about my job? What am I going to do in these times when there is lockdowns and all these? What's going to be next? What's going to affect me now? The fear that some of you have just from life itself. The worry. What's going to happen now? What's going to happen with this or that? Whether you're talking about the society or the government or the planet or darkness or light, you worry. But you didn't as a kid. You really didn't. In fact, one of the biggest worries you had is, how long can I play? Can some of you remember this? There is a sensation there, innocence, joy. You don't know the things that are coming because they're not anything. You may see them on the face of your parents back then, but you didn't experience them. This was a time of joy and laughter and innocence when you didn't worry. Now, why am I saying to you, rekindle the inner child? If you can go back to that state willingly, and capture what you already have experienced and bring it to the forefront, it becomes a catalyst for that which is peaceful, that which will give you the lack of worry, dropping the fear, because you can remember being in that state. Still, there are those who say, I don't want to do this. I don't want to act as a child. I don't want to be seen stupid. And you're taking this way too literally, dear ones. We didn't ask you to behave as a child. We ask you to think of what it was like to be in a state of innocence in these first few years, till you're about 6 or 7 or even 8, when you were simply discovering the fun things and the beautiful things, and you can play with your friends and you could have little fantasies, and none of the things of earth touched you, not the way they do today. If you can go there and recapture even a portion of that, there's an interesting thing that starts to happen. The most interesting thing I can tell you is that this body of yours, and now we're talking about the innate, wants you healed. Of course it does. The innate, we have talked about before, is the smart body, starts to understand what your consciousness is striving for. And in that, and we've told you this before, there starts to be help. And it's not coming from the outside. It's not even coming from angels and guides. It's coming from within. So that innate of your body, that smart body, that all it wants to do is create health for you, the innate, will start to then create avenues where you can pull in more of your inner child, including remembrances. It's an odd thing, is it not, to think that you have got a part of your own body system that is waiting and wanting to help you with things. And you thought you were in charge of everything. You're in charge of opening the doors. There are literally portals within your chemistry that are waiting to hear from the boss. And your innate is one of them. And that innate of yours, that smart body of yours, sees what you're doing and says, let's help. I see she's doing it. I see he's doing it. Let's make it even better, because the innate knows the more you can relax into the inner child and start to then drop those fears that you have because you're remembering it, the healthier you're going to be. I'm going to say something. The more you can capture the inner child that is there, the healthier you're going to be, and the avenue will be clearer for the harder things. There are still some that say, I don't know, Kryon, you don't know my upbringing. I can't remember good things. I know you're out there, dear ones, because I know who's listening. So let me give you something that is far more esoteric than even you wanted to hear. You wouldn't be watching this program unless you were a little bit esoteric, or perhaps even more, members. So listen to this. Non-members, yeah, I'll tell you, perhaps you got to work a little for what I'm about to say, but I'll tell you the membership that is listening now is more aware of these kinds of things. Do you believe that you've lived before? And most of you will say, yes, I do. I want you to go to that lifetime which is in you, which you remember, which is in your innate and in your consciousness. Past lives are still there. I want you to go to that childhood that was perfect and beautiful. Even if you have to look at a friend and say, I want to be that one, perhaps that was yours. I want you to go there, and I want you to experience what that would have been like because you lived it in a past life. Bring that forward. Mine it like a miner digs for gold. Go to your Akash and mine it and paste it upon yourself. Is that too strange? Whatever is needed for you to see the innocence, beauty, joy, and laughter of a child that you were at some lifetime, if not this one, will be valued by your innate, and you can pull it right to you. What does it get you? What does that really do, Kryon? I'll tell you. When you were a child, in any lifetime, there were times when you were so peaceful. That's what you strive for. You want to go back to the giggling, do you not? Inside, gentlemen, don't worry, you're not going to giggle. Inside, so you're joyful with everything you look at, just like a child. What is that? What is that? Do I want this? And people will say, Kryon, you don't know our culture. I can't bring out my inner child while I watch the news. How much did you watch the news as a child? And the answer is, well, I don't recall I did. Well, then turn it off and be a child. And don't watch it. If it's going to depress you, why do you watch it? Are you going to help yourself by watching it? And the answer is not really. You just want to be informed. Well, maybe for a while, you can inform yourself with your own joy and your own childlike attitudes of things that are peaceful and happy and create laughter. That is the inner child. And that is what we are telling you that you can strive for and achieve, which is a catalyst for all of the healing that you want, no matter what kind it is. Your peacefulness is something that lowers all of the anxieties and creates a playing field where the healing can begin. And it cannot begin easily with stress and fear in your life. Capture that inner child, dear ones, and see if I'm right. And so it is. So it is. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching this. I wanted to tell you this is a little time sensitive. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching this. I wanted to tell you this is a little time sensitive.
So, Lee, I think it's time to move into a meditation and a channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. I invite you to close your eyes allow yourself to shift your awareness to your body. What is happening within your body in this moment? Are you settled? Are you comfortable? Are you aware that you are in a very safe place? Within this safe place, you are joined by thousands of ancestors, of the ones you've loved and lost, who are hovering around with you always, actually, not just in this moment, but perhaps in this moment is when we bring our awareness that they are here. Just like Kryon is always here. And in this moment, we now hear the message from Kryon through the voice of Lee.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. We always anticipate a beautiful energy. It comes with that which we call channeling. And it's not a mystery to my partner. It was the first thing he felt that literally made the difference of the reality of whether he was doing something correct or incorrect when he started to channel. My partner had no metaphysical background, none whatsoever. So the idea to this engineer and right-brain man of sitting in a chair and channeling was the last thing that he wanted to do. But what convinced him was that which is the love, the feeling that went with it, that he realized could be projected, even long distance, like we're doing now. Indeed, it is a safe place for you to sit and to listen. And in these times, I'm giving you, especially this month, a series. And the series is about fear. And this particular channel, the second one about fear, is going to be very esoteric. In fact, it might not even be a fear you know is there. We'll talk about that in a moment. You might wonder, does the channeler see things while he channels? And the answer is no. He feels energy, and the feeling of the energy literally projects an intuitive sight. Now, this is a difficult concept. Imagine shutting your eyes and having a vision. Are you seeing or not? Perhaps it's your mind's eye. It's the kind of thing we do and will do later in the Circle of 12. There is a lot more to seeing than sight. So the answer to the question is that my partner sees things and feels things while he channels that we wish to project to him. And all of the things that he sees or feels in the visions he has while he channels, even right now, is the benevolence of the Creator. The love between the souls that you think perhaps are not even there. The connection between you and another one, and another one, and another one. My partner sees a wholeness that is not obvious to any of you. The wholeness of many souls coming together as one, even though they don't understand it or realize it. The Circle of 12 starts to become more like a family. But what he sees right now is the fact that most of you, listening right now and watching in this program right now are old souls. The channeling portion of the circle of 12 is distributed later for free. As I've told my partner many times, the channelings should all be for free and available to the world. This is no exception. And so there will be those later who will listen to this that may or may not have the attributes of those who are listening live at the moment. Because those who are listening to the circle of 12 have given intent to be here because they're interested. And in that interest, I tell you, it means you're an old soul. Kryon, define an old soul for us. It's an easy concept. You've been here before many times. An old soul is one who has been here again and again and again and again. We speak of past lives. We speak of the cycle of life and that which we have called expressions before. Your soul comes in many times. It acts out, you might say, various parts on the earth, so it collects wisdom, many roles, many races. You experience great things. You experience perhaps challenging things. But in the end, as you watch me today, old soul, you have inside you a collection of wisdom based on who you've been, where you've been, and how long you've been here. You may not feel that all of that wisdom collectively lays upon you, but it does. Part of the 2012 energy is that which is discovery. Discovering more of who you are. I've said it before, you open a door and you find that which you always were that you didn't know. You open a door and find that you are much larger than you thought, in a very good way, that there is a spiritual attribute, not a religious attribute, a spiritual attribute in every cell, that you're part of creation. You're part of all that is on the earth. There is no separation between you and the rocks, the trees, the flowers, the insects, and the animals. That you are part of a family of life, much more magnificent. That there are tools for you, should you awaken to this truth. And the tools are longer life, healing your body, safety, the erasing of fear from your body, getting rid of the anxiety of the things that bother you, that make you wake up in the middle of the night. I'm telling you the truth. The fear that I'm going to tell you about, obscure it is, exceptionally real it is. It's the fear of enlightenment. I have spoken of this many times. If you have not heard it before, let me give you the scenario. Old soul, you have been here so many times. And because you're an old soul, you have graduated, perhaps many, many eons ago, into wisdom. You have started to ask the questions that are only being asked right now by many. You awakened to a grander truth, perhaps lifetimes ago. The grander truth, is there more than I've been told about my spirituality or about the creative source, which you call God? Is there more than I've been told? Am I part of it? Can I participate in it in beautiful ways? And as soon as you opened your mouth and asked that question to anybody but yourself in a very old energy, lifetimes ago, you were persecuted for it. Some of the things that you do every single day in your meditations and your expectations would have had you burned at the stake many lifetimes ago. What I'm going to tell you next is that some of you suffered because you awakened to a grander truth. Many of you suffered, both genders, if you decided to even question that which you were told. Might not be the truth, maybe there was more to it. You know what I'm talking about. Things did not go well for you. These are the attributes, the imprints, the programs that you carry. For some, you may be a magnificent old soul, one who has participated all the way back to Lemuria, and yet you'd never watch a program like this. You're what I call a closet light worker. And you're not going to come out because there's something in you that sounds an alarm every single time the choice is there. Is there more than I was taught? Should I believe this? I'd like to look at all of the astrology aspects that are happening in January, and some of them are amazing. I'd like to look at all the aspects, again, that happened December, because some of them were amazing. I'd like to learn more about what they meant. You say that casually, and someone will nod their head. This sounds good. Those very things would be imprisonable. So you don't do them. You don't even come close. You don't want to even look. Somebody hands you a metaphysical book, no thank you. Even though you have all the tools and the equipment and you actually know more than you're telling anyone. Fear of enlightenment keeps you from this information. I'll tell you something. Many of you watching this program right now are married to them. Those who would not want to participate in this program, wonderful human beings, that's why you married them. And you could see in them the beauty of God. But they won't participate in anything you're interested in. That is a closet light worker. Fear of enlightenment keeps even those who are aware of the old soulness, it keeps you away from completing even the circle of 12. You go to the mist, and you don't want to go further. And there are many. Or you go to the mist, and you say, okay, I'll go, and you fall asleep. This is your body saying, old soul, well, I've been there, it might be dangerous. I will just sleep through it. This is why I have said many times in the circle of 12, at that point that you go across the bridge, stay awake. And give affirmations. This is safe. This is for me. I want to know more about myself. There's no danger here. And there is not. There's only love. It's interesting what people are afraid of, or perhaps what you've been told to be afraid of by others who don't know what you're doing. Going across the bridge, well, they're going to capture your soul, you know. You probably have heard that. Well, if you do what you're told, it's some kind of a cult, a sect, and you're going to be then captured and part of something you don't want to, and it's mind control. You've heard that? It's exactly the opposite. When you go into that mist, it's expansive. You get to see more than you've ever seen before. You get to know more about yourself than you ever knew was possible. You get to see the grandeur, the magnificence. You start to drop the fear, and you come back better balanced. And that is the key. People should see this within you, dear ones, that the more time you spend learning about yourself, the more you relax into your culture, into your family, into yourself, to the point where others in your family would come to you and say, I don't know what you're into, but I like it. Because they see you relax in so many different ways. That's what happens when you cross in to that place. But there are so many who are afraid. A fear of enlightenment will keep people from experiencing the beauty of who they are. Now, this is where we say how to get out of that fear. It's not needed for you to change any more than you want to. And this is important, dear ones. You have free choice. Honor your own feelings. Some of you may want to know more. Some of you may want to even share this information with those you believe really are closet light workers, so that they understand a little more. The invitation is there, but there are no shoulds here. We just tell you this so you could recognize it in yourself and say, aha, I knew it. There's something keeping me from that next step. Not anymore. You could even say these words. All of these memories are gone. They're not pertinent today. They're not magnificent for me today. And so they will no longer control my life. Simple. That's the power of the old soul. And so it is. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching this. I wanted to tell you this is a little time sensitive. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching this. I wanted to tell you this is a little time sensitive.
Yeah. So again, take your moment to create a sacred space consciously. You know, we're all the time sacred. It's just our intention and focus in a certain energy that we want to create. It's what brings it out of us and makes us aware and conscious of it, and then it increases. So let's do this again together. And bring yourself into your center of your being, or as Peggy would say, center above, center below. Focus on your core energy. Take a slow, or as many as you need, breath. Bringing your attention back to your heart, the center of your being. That place of gratitude, of balance, of peace, of benevolence, of kindness, all the noble attributes that come into your mind, into your heart, into your being right now, just naturally coming into your field, whatever they are, bring them closer to you. From the field of infinite potentials that your Merkabas are connected to in a strong intention of coherence we're building now, again, consciously, creating a beautiful confluence of energies between all of us in the room and beyond. Bring into your field that potential that you want to have in your life. Make it as visual, as bright, as real, as much as you allow for it. Breathe. See it present as if it is happening right now. Right now. Right now. And if there is someone, or if there's a friend, if there's a family member, if there's an four-legged friend, if there's an area that you want to bring into this field of coherence and balance, a field of healing, see them in this field together with us, because when you see them and feel them, they are with us. This is real. See them fully present with you. And allow yourself to feel even more even more. How much more you can love yourself, you will open more with your love to others. Feel the meld within you, the being within you, melding with the higher self, spirit. Can you feel that in this space now emerge a connectedness, an alliance, an unbreakable bond that is between you and your many parts of you that are in the now, that are in the future, that has been before, all connected in a beautiful fabric of light, all connected as one living being. Breathe. Allow this expansion to grow even more, even more. As you feel that energy shifting into the place that has no beginning and no end. No beginning and no end. That is always in a circle, always in a circle, always in a circle of love. Take another breath. Remember when you first came here, just a few moments ago. It was yesterday, but it was like just a few moments ago. You shifted so much. Your experience, you allowed yourself to feel more of your true beingness from Source. Hold that energy as strong, powerful, magnificent soul you really are. And always remember that it's always with you. Always with you. None of us is ever alone. Breathe. And let us open once more in a big-heartedness, heart openness, energy. Open even more to the wisdom, the energy, the essence of love and beauty and infinite energy from Alanahi as she channels Anya, the wisdom of the Divine Feminine, and from Kryon as it comes through Li, for the guidance, love, joy, and honor that they have for you. Eheye Asher Eheye. Kadosh, 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 Adonai.
I am Anya, here in service in the time of the Great Evolution, initiator of the universal calibration lattice, an energetic structure for you to be able to be at home wherever you are upon the planet in multidimensional awareness, for that multidimensional awareness is about to grow. I also brought you the gifts of the 36 templates of light and energy. They will help you as you become more aware of how to channel the wholeness of your being, the original resonance. Will it ever be fully channeled through in this place? Of course not. But can you channel much more of who you are? Can you? Are you willing? You now have energetic light structures to support you, to expand your consciousness, your expression, and your understanding of what it means to be wise, wholehearted, multidimensional you. We are very pleased, for you have said yes to yourselves at a very deep level. It always delights us to remind you that you are greatly loved and to invite you to love greatly, beginning with yourself. First message we wish to give is one of honoring you for all that you have experienced. Sometimes smiling, sometimes not. The imposed limitations, you are now seeing the illusion of many of the limitations. But we want to acknowledge you found ways, even within the limitations, to co-create more of who you are. You did very well, more than you know. You've been in a multidimensional box, and you've learned to build very well. And that box no longer exists. Can you feel it? Might feel a little funny at first, for the limits that you once knew are now dissolving. Most of you are quite happy with this. A few of you are saying, am I sure? It won't take you long before you say, I am sure. You will breathe even deeper, become more aware, love with greater frequencies, and be fully present as you can be in these bodies, with these brains, with these nervous systems, with these hearts. You understand? We have a few more messages. Be willing to open. Allow the curiosity to feed you. For many of you are still saying, yes, 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 I see the limitations are dissolving, but there's still a holding on. And so we're going to ask you to practice in nature, wherever you'd like. I would ask you to refrain from doing this in the supermarket, but open your arms and be fully aware and know that you are part of all of this. You may do it in the supermarket if you so choose, but be ready for some strange reactions. You may do that whichever you please, as you continue to open yourself to the curiosity and to the new creative consciousness, star consciousness. It is time. Oh my goodness, hold on. For indeed, you are opening all these new channels, and the 144 points of light within the brain are responding in ways we have not seen before, rising higher than they have been. For you are ready to intuit and to express the new intelligence from the holographic wholeness of the universe. It will be interesting to see what you choose to express and how to express it. But the time has come. And there are just a few more things we want to say. And one of them is to address you as the human being and the human doing. For far too long, there were many who said, I've become a human doing, and I'm not doing that anymore. I am a human being. You have now reached the moment where the time you came for is here. And we ask you to contemplate what it means to you to know when to be still, to be the human being, and when to take action, to be the human doing, to co-create the new realities upon the planet. Does that make sense to you? So revisit your rising again. You are willing to balance your masculine and your feminine, your being and your doing. You are much wiser than you've ever been. Can you feel it? And with the wisdom can come smiles, happiness, appreciation of self and that which can be accomplished. May you amaze yourself. And when you do, you can make the announcement, I have just amazed myself. It is more than acceptable to honor yourself, to honor your sense of soul, your sense of wholeness. We have given you 2 activations these days, filled with a great deal of encouragement, words charged with energy. You have that in your possession. You now know of the 36 templates. It is now time for you to know God within, expressing through you the energy of your wholeness. And when you say, I am willing to become more of who I am, to feel that fullness, to know it. You are multidimensional. Just a few things to consider. There is multidimensional you when you tend to your body, pampering you. There is multidimensional you as the athlete when you decide to exercise. There is multidimensional you as the housekeeper caring for your home. There is multidimensional you co-creating new realities. Enjoy all these expressions of who you are. Take a little bit of time to define them a bit more. Know your superpowers. You all have them. Are you ready? Our time together is complete. The activations are complete. And yet, as we are unique and united, we shall continue together, as much or as little as you like. I am Anya, here in service in the time of the Great Evolution, delighted to remind you, you are greatly loved. In great honor, I invite you to love greatly. And in a way we have spoken to one another again and again, many times before. All is well. All is well. It is. It is.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. It is the end, the last day, of 2 loving conferences where there has been great knowledge shared, great love, epiphanies, and all the things that old souls come for. This channel will be one of celebration of you. Indeed, there may be an instruction or two, but it's about you. Dear ones, we've given many channels how God sees you, including one in this of 2 conferences. But in this new energy, there's going to be a great discovery. Among all of the things that we have mentioned that you can do, that you perhaps were not able to do in the way we are discussing before, there is an overall discovery to be made. If you take a look at the planet and you take a look at spiritual systems and basic understanding of God or the Creator or Spirit, whatever you want to call it, if you look at that, there's a sameness. That God is in the sky and you are sitting in the chair. There is a feeling of worship from the low to the high. There is a feeling that God is unattainable because God is that which exists beyond your comprehension or understanding. And as a human being, sometimes you've just got to stop and realize that you are lower than the Almighty. And this is the prevailing attitude. If you look at those belief systems all over the planet, the majority of them suppress humanity and enhance the divine. And therefore you spend your life trying to climb the stairs to attain some kind of communication. Perhaps climb the stairs so you can be closer to touch the face of God. You know what I'm speaking of. This is a time of light. Light creates awareness. You're aware of the surroundings around you like you were not before. You're aware of your, perhaps, intelligence in a way you were not aware of before, because it takes you to new places. You're aware that the relationship to the Almighty, as you've been told, may not be exactly what you were told. The discovery will start small. And there will be those who start to understand that God is bigger than anything you've ever been told, and it includes you, not excludes you. In the inclusion factor, the discovery will come in waves from those you don't expect, who perhaps never would sit in a room like this. Perhaps they would be the high priests of certain religions who would say, we've had an epiphany and we're going to rewrite it all for you. There'll be those systems of belief who once would have suppressed humans, who let them expand. In other words, mainstream religion may actually change. Instead of the downfall of a church, there might be the enhancement of the church. Would you be all right with that? This will be perhaps the largest spiritual discovery on the planet of all time. And more would grasp that idea that perhaps they're included in the creation and God is inside, to the degree where you have a piece of the Creator with you. And then the second wave of that discovery, not only are you allied with the Creator in a way that enhances you, but then you start to understand the relationship to the Creator. one of your main religions on the planet, which includes more than 1 billion people, will talk about a prophet that they call the Son of God. There will be the understanding of that relationship to every single one of you, and you become family, like that one you are. More than just God inside, but of the family of the Creator. The third wave of that whole discovery series will be that in this galaxy, this planet shines like the sun because it is becoming aware suddenly where it was in the dark before. And that awareness and that glow of this planet will alert other planets that are also glowing. And at that point in time, you will meet the others. This planet, when it starts to vibrate higher, will send out signals in so many ways that it's safe to be here from the other parts of the galaxy that know that they are also family. And that's when you'll meet them. The celebration is that you are here today to hear this, and it's believable. The celebration is that these things may not happen exactly when you think they will, but old soul, you'll be here to see them. You may look a little different, but you'll be here. That is your legacy. That is written in your Akash. All of these things that I speak of, that's the celebration that the process has begun. If you want to enhance the process, even in this low energy, I want to review with you how to spread the light, what it really might mean. In a metaphor that we gave originally when we arrived. Although the metaphor may be old, the lesson is still very, very new. And the one that I speak of is the lighthouse. If you take a look at a lighthouse on this planet, why it's built, how it functions, what it's for, and the result of it, it's almost a complete and total metaphor of you. The lighthouse is built in troubled areas. Old soul, you carry light. Don't be shocked if you find yourself in metaphoric troubled areas, including perhaps even your family. The lighthouse is built on areas so that it can shine the light and keep others from perhaps crashing into the rocks. All those ships that would come would see the lighthouse and go around so they'd be safe. The old soul carries light, so wherever they... know the lighthouse keeper. There is one lighthouse keeper in an old system of lighthouses. Only one lives on the little rock and lights the light every night. That's you. Alone. You may be with other light workers, But in your own way, in your own soul, in the things that you are responsible for, individually, you're alone. You have your light, just like the light keeper. This is the task of the old soul on the planet. And so many of you are now becoming aware. And it doesn't have to be hard. You climb the stairs when the sun is sinking down, and you get ready to light the light. Imagine this as the lighthouse keeper of old. There's an arc there to strike so that the light will come on super bright and start then to alert all around them to steer clear of the danger. Only in your case, when you climb the stairs and strike the light, suddenly you don't just shine a light. Suddenly a hand comes down and grasps yours and says, "Thank you, dear ones, for being part of the family." And that hand comes down and you grasp it metaphorically, because that is your light. That is the composite light that you shine, and that will carry you from place to place. You don't have to do it alone. The guides, the angels, all that we have spoken of are involved in that light, in lighting it and keeping it lit and moving from place to place and knowing which way to go and where to seek help. It's not always easy. Before I close, I'll give you a scenario of holding the light, of spreading the light that may surprise you. Let us say you've come to this conference. Let us pretend for a moment you have a partner that did not and doesn't agree with it. Just pretend. In fact, perhaps that partner thinks you're just a little silly. Perhaps even worse, that partner thinks that this is the Kryon cult, and you're going here to be served ridiculous things and believe in it and pay for it. So it's time for you to go home. And you go home to this partner, the one perhaps that you fell in love with and that you cherish still to this day in certain ways that simply doesn't agree with you. And this partner looks at you and smiles. Home from the cult, I see. Did you meet any ETs along the way? And what did the magnetic angel say to you today? And then you will face your partner and strike the light, and that hand will come down, and you will say to that partner in all seriousness, but with a smile of endearment, you'll say, "The magnetic angel told me this, that I should rekindle the compassion with my partner of kindness, that I should re-fall in love with my partner like the day I met them. That's what I was told." And then you get to watch your partner melt with words that are sincere, that they wanted to hear from you for a very long time. And they may then think a little differently when you go to a conference of love. They may not judge you just as much, and if so, you have taken that light and put it right where you live. That's what the light worker does today. And that spreads, and people see it. And eventually that partner of yours may say, "I know you're going to the conference. I know that I'll miss you for a few days. And I don't know really what happens there. I'm not going to go with you, ever. But I kind of like the way it's changed you. Have a good time." That's what light does. This is why we congratulate those of you who are learning what this means with the maturity that is available to you It was not before. I am Kryon, in love with humanity. And so it is.